Hello, my name is Michaela McGregor, and today I want to talk about Goodreads, and I just want to start off by saying this is not a sponsored video. I just really love Goodreads, and I want to talk about it and convince you. Seeing as I'm constantly rambling about it in my videos, I figured it was time that I actually make a video attempting to convince you to get a Goodreads account if you don't have one already. And it's just a really remarkable way to keep track of books you're reading and what you want to be reading, and really just how effective it is in getting you out of a reading slump, because Goodreads is what got me out of my reading slump. Back in high school, I wasn't reading nearly as much as I had back in middle school because, just schoolwork got the better of me, and I think that it was Goodreads that made me finally start reading again in my free time. So yeah, if you want to get out of your reading slump, that's another reason that Goodreads is probably for you. So I guess that is reason number one right here, is it helps you get out of a reading slump. And I think that that's partially because you can set yourself a reading challenge with Goodreads. So really you're just saying how many books you want to read in a year, but it becomes really competitive with yourself. And that sounds dorky, but I go on Goodreads, and if I see that I am a book behind schedule or 2 books behind schedule, there is nothing that will make me get up and find my next book to read quicker than when I see I'm behind schedule. And I think that that's kind of a fun way to challenge yourself to reach new book goals that you've never hit before. Obviously, the number of books you read does not define your value, but at the same time, there's this certain self-satisfaction that you cannot achieve without reading more and more books every single year and beating your own personal bests. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about that. Social media. It's kind of a social media platform. So if you like social media, maybe you'll like Goodreads. You can follow your friends, so get all your friends to join Goodreads, and then you can see what your friends are reading. It'll come up in your homepage. It'll be Jane Smith started reading The Hunger Games, and it's just kind of fun knowing what everyone's reading. You can also read their reviews and see what they rated books, so that's really helpful if you're looking for a new book to read. And let's say you click on Where the Red Fern Grows, you can see what your friends have rated it. It's just so much fun to see that. You can also follow people that are famous, so authors and celebrities that are on Goodreads. You can see what they're currently reading, and especially authors are really interesting to follow because they'll sometimes answer questions that fans have about their books. So I'm following Stephen King, Lisa C, for example, and they'll post answers to people that have posted questions on their Goodreads, which is a fun way to engage with authors that you really like. Although I have yet to ask an author a question, so I'll have to do that. Okay, reason number 3 is the book lists. There's an infinite number of book lists on Goodreads. So if you join and you just browse it, you'll never have to search for a book again, because there's my to-read list is so long on Goodreads right now because of how simple it is in finding books to read. And the thing is, the books are tagged by people that read them, so you can go under those tags and find other similar books as well. So if you're looking for a book that's set in Afghanistan, or something that's a Bildungsroman, or you're looking for a sci-fi romance dystopian blend, something set in the Incan Empire, there's no limit to what you can find because of the tags on books. Ratings. You know how they say, never judge a book by its cover? I do judge books by their cover, and I think that goes hand in hand with judging them by their rating. When you go to a book on Goodreads, you can see its cover, see its rating, and honestly, that's just a really good glimpse of what the book's going to be. And this sounds really bad. I feel like people are going to really disagree with this. Obviously, read a book that you want to read, and don't not read a book just because it's 3.62 stars instead of 3.64. But since I started Goodreads, I have an issue where I'm only reading books that are 3.75 stars or above. But the thing is as much as that is definitely limiting my scope of books to read, but it's rare that a book is under that. It has to be bad. It means that the books I've been reading lately are really good because people rate it higher. And then you don't have that issue of sitting down to read a book only to find that it's incredibly boring and you can't get your eyes onto the second page because the dialogue or the description is just so dry. And that really sucks the fun out of reading. So if you join Goodreads and you start looking at the reviews and ratings, you won't have to encounter that nearly as frequently. Going off of that with the reviews are a little bit dangerous to look at before or during a book that you're reading, but especially after. It's really fun to see what other people said about the book. So I'll write my review and then I'll read other reviews. Sometimes they'll convince me to edit my review. I'll be oh my gosh, I gave that way too many stars after reading other people's comments, or vice versa. And this is dangerous because obviously it really proves, at least for me, it really proves how malleable my opinions are. But, I think it's almost more like an English literature class, because in class you get to hear other people's perspectives, and going on Goodreads allows you to see those perspectives, and people have really articulate opinions as well. It's so interesting to read the reviews on Goodreads. Statistics. Goodreads keeps track of your statistics, so year by year you can see how many books you read and the months that you're most active in reading, how many pages you've read during the year. I think that's just kind of an exciting thing to explore. You can also stay organized using Goodreads because it's basically just a giant reading log. So if you're wondering what the name of the book was that you read 10 years ago and you can't find it for the life of you, you, if you go into Goodreads, you can find it, and it's all documented there. Or maybe you're not even sure if you've read a book before, you've like picked it up from the library and you're like, wait a second, have I read this? Goodreads will tell you if you've read it. It's just helpful for organization in that sense. Going off of this, it also just organizes your bookshelf, because you can sort all the books that you read onto different shelves. So for me, I only put books onto shelves if I really like them, because I kind of keep my shelves open as like my recommendations for other people. So I have different genres that I sort my favorite books into, as well as just a shelf for my absolute favorites. And it's so much fun having them organized like this. You can also keep a to-read list as one of your shelves. So like I said earlier, I have a lot of books on there right now, and I'm really bad about working my way through it. But it's just handy because you can reference this from anywhere. You know, it's not on paper. There's an app, it's also just a website online. So if you're in the library and you're wondering what you want to read next, you can just go onto your phone and easily find what's on your to-read list. Goodreads is so user-friendly. You can manually add books. So I'll add stuff that I'm reading online if it doesn't exist on Goodreads, because like if it's reading, you know, it counts as a book. At least in my world it does. I think that right now, like my Goodreads, I only have a few people that I know that I'm friends with on Goodreads, and it's still fun even with that few of friends, but I think that if more people joined, it would just be even more fun. So this is right now my plea for you to go on Goodreads and join, and I will have my link to my Goodreads account in the caption below this video, so if you want to follow me on Goodreads, you can go there. I hope that the reading challenge will inspire you to read more like it did for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you give it a shot and have a great rest of your week.